What I'll be doing today is replacing the bottom seat pad on a E39 M5 sport seat. So this will apply to any other E39 that has the sport seat with the thigh bolster right here. And the reason why I'm doing this is that this happens to be the driver's side, and what you'll see is that the driver's side, if I get the right angle here, you can see that the foam has separated. I'll get the original piece, the new piece, so you can see what I'm talking about. But in comparison to the inboard side, that would be along your console, you can see how this is nice. And see if I can get the light on it, so you can see that it's, you know, just a nice firm one piece. And then on here you can kind of see a little hard on the black, but you can see that it's kind of squared off. It's not you know, a nice big puff. And you can see where the inner bolster and then the outer bolster, where they're separated, and you can kind of see that divot. So the idea is to remove this today, and what I'm going to try to do is do this without taking the back of the seat off. It should be doable. The only thing that I need to do is there's going to be a screw here right underneath where we want to be. There's a screw right there that we're going to need to get at, and of course we'll have to remove these controls, which is not a big deal. And then there's just a couple of other plastic rivet things here. There's one here, there's one under here, and I'll get some better pictures of that once we get into the project here. And then there's going to be one back underneath here too. So should be pretty straightforward. The real trick is going to be getting power to this so that I can move this thigh bolster out and then put the seat back a little bit so that I can get to that bolt, that bolt that's right underneath here. We just need access to that. And then I'll also want to raise the seat up. So get some power to this, raise the seat up, put the seat back so I can get to that bolt, and then I'll play with that when I get to the point where I'm taking the pad out. It's going to be pretty straightforward, and we'll get into that once I flip the seat over, when I put a cover down on the concrete to protect my leather. And that's it. So stand by and we'll get this set up. Okay, so a couple of quick things. So here is the new foam that's going to go into the seat pad. This is the new seat pad. And what you can see is there's two sections. Here's the inner, here's the outer. But what's funny, and I'm not quite sure why they would have done this, is that it's all one piece of foam. And all they did is they put this slice in here. It's not glued together or anything. It's just got this nice little slice. And what happens is that over time, as you get in and out of the car, this piece will get more pulled away and eventually crushed. And so that's what happens. That's why the bolsters start to get that weird divot and you know, weird condition that it sees. So what we're going to need to do also is we're going to want to, as I said before, we're going to want to get electric to the seat so that we can, one, put the seat back to get access to that screw. And then the other thing is, two, we'll probably, when we're doing this, we might want access underneath the seat. So I'm going to just raise this up. So what I've done is I've got to the electric of the seat, the main electric. There's just one screw or one nut here. And what you'll see is that this goes over this bolt that's sticking out here. There's just the one nut. It's a 10 millimeter. Take that off. And this whole thing, there's a little, you can kind of see it's a little C. It just sits over this bar, and it just pulls forward. And then the master power to the seat is these two largest spades. And the top one is the ground, the bottom one is the positive power. And on mine, the positive is it's brown and red, the ground is just a solid brown. And I'm using a power supply. I'm just using a real power supply, but there's no reason why if you had a battery that was charged or some other 12-volt supply, you couldn't just jump to this and get power. So you can see, I've got power and I can do whatever I need to now. So that is a quick little thing. We'll work with that, and then we'll continue on with taking off the side covers, the switches, and that's all pretty much covered in you go on to M5 board or Beamer forums or something like that, and there's tons of information on how to take this stuff apart. The reason why I'm making this video is that I couldn't find anything on how to do the seat bottom itself, and especially with the sport seat, I don't know how this truly the thigh support is connected to the main seat. So what I'll do is I'll make sure to bring this all the way up. I'm sure that's got to be pulled away to give us access to something down here, and we'll continue on, and I'll let you know how it turns out. So just a quick little clarification. You don't have to take this off like I did. I just did this so that I could identify where the positive and the negative were. You can just leave this in its natural state and just know that the negative is the top and the power is the plus is on the bottom. So that's it. You don't have to do what I did here. This was just to find the power sources. That's it. Okay, so what we have done now is we've taken off our side covers, our control panel, and I did recline the seat back to be able to get to these bolts. Actually, there's just one on the driver's side, and possibly I don't know if it's on the passenger side, the outboard towards the door. But on a car that's this is a 2001, so 15 years old, there's supposed to be a little piece right here that goes like this. That was broken when I went to go take it off it. But anyway, it's pretty easy. There's just these little clips that you go around. You just undo these clips. There's one bolt. There are T25s, one in the front, and then the rest are just these little push plugs. So anyway, those are all off. And now what I'm doing is I'm gonna take the seat leather off, which I think is really only the thing holding this on. Is so you'll see these little teeth all the way around. Some of them are going to be harder to get, so I'm really glad that I raised the seat up to its full most upright position. The only thing that I'm still not sure about is, so I've got the thigh bolster extended all the way out. I really don't know what has to happen, so I've got that all the way out. I'm really not sure. I guess what I can do is, all I really need to do is get the foam out. I don't need to really be concerned about, the leather. I just need to be able to get the leather back on, of course. But there's just, I'm going to pull these clips back, these teeth back, and pull the leather back, and we'll see where that goes, and I'll report back. Okay, so we're kind of at the moment of truth. You'll see I've gone around, I've bent back all of these little teeth. There are quite a few of them, and some of them are trickier to get at than others. These were kind of bent back around. So it's nice to have, pry tools, a little screwdriver or something that you can get up underneath them with. And then I've also found that using my bull nose, they're flat enough that they can get up underneath them, and they're strong enough that it gives you enough leverage, and they're short enough that you can get into these tight spaces up underneath along the side here, and you'll see it's pretty tight up in here. It's pretty tight. So I've undone all along here, all along the bottom of the back and along the side over here. So I'm just going to start peeling this back and see where I get. Again, I'm thinking that if I can just leave the leather flipped forward, it'll allow me to release the foam pad. Because I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with this thing. You know, that this is the thigh bolster, but I've seen something where you pull this off, and I don't know, and there's some tabs. I'm just thinking hopefully I can get this to the foam pad for the seat itself to come off, and just, you know, flop the leather forward. So I'll work on that and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, so we're kind of at the moment of truth. You'll see I've gone around, I've bent back all of these little teeth. There are quite a few of them, and some of them are trickier to get at than others. These were kind of bent back around. So it's nice to have, you know, pry tools, a little screwdriver or something that you can get up underneath them with. And then I've also found that using my bull nose, they're flat enough that they can get up underneath them, and they're strong enough that it gives you enough leverage, and they're short enough that you can get into these tight spaces up underneath along the side here, and you'll see, you know, it's pretty tight up in here. It's pretty tight. So I've undone all along here, all along the bottom of the back, and along the side over here. So I'm just going to start peeling this back and see where I get. Again, I'm thinking that if I can just leave the leather flipped forward, it'll allow me to release the foam pad. Because I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with this thing. You know, that this is the thigh bolster, but I've seen something where you pull this off, and I don't know, and there's some tabs. I'm just thinking hopefully I can get this to the foam pad for the seat itself to come off, and just, you know, flop the leather forward. So I'll work on that and I'll let you know how that goes. Gone around, undid all of the spots that I could find. I think everything's undone, I think. Got everything undone here. So now there's electrical connectors for the heating elements. So here, here, and here, right there. And they're zip tied in a couple of places, so I'll just make note of those and zip them back down, and zip them back down when I'm done. So there, there, and there, there, and there. Okay, that's it. So as I've started to pull the seating back, one of the first things I noticed was that this thing is just, you can just see it's just raining out garbage, all dried and crushed. One of the things that I see between the pad that I've ordered and this one is that it appears to have had a nice felt cover over it, and the new one doesn't have anything like this. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if I was supposed to get something else here, or if it's a different revision or what. So I'm not sure, but I'll report back once I have all of this taken off, and we'll assess the situation. All right, so it appears you can take this apart. I probably will take the seat back off. It's really snug getting that foam back underneath there. There's 3 hog rings right along the front. One's over there, 2 and 3. If you can see it, 3. Also, there's the heating element that is here. Apparently this is part of the heating element. It would appear so. Here's the electric. So I don't know if I need to order this from BMW or if I can repurpose it, but shoot, you know, I don't know. And so I think once I cut those hog rings, I can flop this whole thing forward, and then the rest of the seat cover also is hog ringed to the new the new pad, but before I put the new pad in, do I need to put in the new heating elements? So, TBD, let's see. That wasn't too bad. So this came out from the seat, and as I said before, there's this that gets hog ringed right to 3 points on the base. There are 4 hog rings, 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that bad, and you know, the only thing, you know, that the heating element for the center section is going to be here, but the heating elements for the side bolsters apparently are a separate BMW part. 2698 and 2698 278. So I don't know what to do. I might try to just peel these back. They're just adhesive, and as far as I know, since I bought these secondhand, they worked. I don't know. Do I take a risk by pulling them off and reusing them? Probably, but hopefully they work, because I do have adhesive. I do have spray adhesive that I used in the past. It works pretty well, but this feels more like tape, like sticky back tape, and it might actually be the better solution. So something to contemplate. I guess maybe I'll go do a quick price search and see how much they are. You know, do it right the first time, and I'll come back. You know, if they're crazy expensive or no longer available or something, maybe I'll just reuse them and, you know, kind of glue them in place. But since I've got this rolling right now, I may as well show you. So yeah, this whole bolster side here was just toasted. The inside, you can see, nice and tight. The outside one, just, you know, crumbling to dust and just wasted. The rest of it looks good, you know, not bad. So that's where we're at. I'm going to do some pricing, and I will come back and let you know what I decide to do. All right, so to continue on, what I think is that this comes with a pre-applied adhesive from the factory. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look close, you can see kind of a knit of where I believe it's peel and stick. I've gone online and I see where some people have reused the heaters, but man, I'm telling you, the way this stuff was applied, it was just so nice and uniform. And I've done seats before, and I've done the spray adhesive, you know, but it just never really seems to kind of keep, and it dries out over some period of time. This is interesting because I found a section over here, and it's still tacky. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just spend the it was like 28 bucks or something from BMW of Fairfax. I just did a part search using the BMW part number price comparison thing. If you don't have it, that's definitely worth getting. It's an easy way to search for the same part across many platforms and get the best price. So that's what I'm doing. So it's going to take me a couple days to get back to this, but you know, it's been so far so good. I think the other thing I'm going to look at is probably if I can. I don't want to take this off if I don't have to. I mean, I can, but if I can just loosen it up, lift it up so I can get the pad and the seat cover back underneath, that'd be easy. It was really pretty snug in there. So anyway, we shall return. A couple of quick things. Regarding the foam, the heating element on the foam pad, what I've decided to do is go ahead and order the new ones. it just is, it was just such a nice way that those things were adhered to. I believe that it comes stock from the factory with the heating element on it. So I'm going to go ahead and order those. I've done that, and so it'll be a couple of days, a few days before I see those. In the meantime, I talked about the seat backs, and I'm not sure why I hesitated in the beginning to do the seat backs, but it is so easy on the M5 Sport seats. There's just 2 screws underneath here that hold in the seat back. And down here you can see there's the 2 screws, 1, 2, and then this just simply slides back up into there and attaches with those 2 screws. And then to take the seat back off, there's just 2 bolts. There's 1, 2, you loosen those up, and then the whole thing's just loose. And that's all I needed. I just need loose so I can pull the foam back through with the leather on it when it's all put back together. The second thing, after a little bit more consideration, was I mentioned before I didn't know how to do the bolster for the thigh bolster, whatever they call it. This is totally simple. There's 2 guides, 1, 2, and 1 bolt. You take out that 1 bolt, and poof, the whole thing just comes off. That's it. And now the whole thing's free. That's it. Super easy. So I'm going to put all of this stuff aside for now, and I'm just going to wait for my new parts to come in. The other thing that I found as I was in this thing is that the motor for the headrest had completely detached from the top of the seat, and it was laying in the bottom of the backrest. So that'll come with the other parts I've ordered today. So yeah, I ordered these. I bought these used from a guy on M5 board. It was awfully good of him to ship them out to California from Maryland. But these things weigh about 70 pounds each, so what are you gonna do? So the other thing is these seats. My foam, I've just realized, I just took it out of the package earlier and looked at it. This little piece is about separated. And, I guess I can glue that back on. It's not going to see a whole lot of traffic, but, it's funny. Nothing seems to come the way you want it to. So anyway, that's it for maybe a day or 2 or 3, and I'll get back to this when my parts come. It's been about 2 weeks since I ordered my new side heaters, and I was able to get a good price on these, but the deal is that when you order them, you don't quite know where they're going to come from, and mine ended up having to come from Germany, so it took about a week or so, and then I had to get back onto the projects. The deal now is that we're going to have to figure out how to get these things back on. And quite honestly, I think that had I wanted to, I could have really used the 3M adhesive. I've done it before on other seats and it works fine, but I really liked the way that the BMW part has the adhesive pre-applied, and it really is just super tacky. So I think I'm going to go with that. But what I'll do is take the new piece and figure out how to fit this on here in the best way possible. And of course, since it's got adhesive all over, it's going to be a tricky little proposition to get it on there and right the first time. So I've got my my new cushion all set up, and I'll do one side and let's see how it looks. That was really easy and very, very nice. If you've never worked with the 3M adhesive, it's a pain in the ass because you have to spray both sides, you have to let it tack, and then it takes a while for it to dry up or cure up, and it's messy and sticky. You get it on your fingers and you know, it's just not nice and clean. This was awesome. You just peel and stick. You just find the registration. It was really easy. Just line it up against the bottom of this groove, match it up to the end of the bolster here, and then it is just it just goes right on. I mean, it's really nice. And so it was that simple. But for the price of, I think I paid what, $50 a piece for these, something like that. You know, I think you'd be just as well to use your old ones and glue them on and just be done with it. Certainly is faster, cheaper, but convenience wise, this is pretty nice. Now fitting the cover back on, what I am finding is that it's a little trickier. There is going to be this nice lining in here. The tricky part is up here at the front of the bolster. You're going to see that there's that lining down in here. You want to make sure that that's not all bunched up. You want to make sure that you get the foam as far up in the front as you can. You want to make sure that the cushion is all the way to the forward position here. Again, on this side, you want to make sure that same thing. You want to make sure that this doesn't get all bunched up down in here. It's kind of loose. And then what I'm going to move on to here is the hog rings. I'm going to hog ring the cushion to the cover, and what you're going to need is a hog ring tool and some hog rings. I think I got this at Harbor Freight a long time ago when I did another project, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's probably not the right angle, probably not the best for what I'm doing here, but we'll give her a shot and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a little cramped in there for sure, I can already tell, so I'll report back. With another little bit of time on this thing to get the cover hog ringed down, it's going to be pretty tricky. You can't have the cover on, you have to have it pulled back like this. The only way you're going to have access to the hog ring points. And what makes that tricky is that, remember that when you put this back on, you're going to have to get this piece. I don't know if you can see it, but let's see if we can pull it down. This piece, there's this other rod rail right here that's going to have to be hog ringed down to the frame itself. So you need the cover pulled back all the way back as far as you can get it, yet you want this to be able to be down so you can pull it tight, because when you hog ring these things down, they're going to be in place and you're going to be kind of stuck. So I'm sure in the factory they have a nice fixture for this. The only way I can do this, I can't even show you with one hand, but you have to get the hog ring through the, there's these rails right here, I'll just call them rails. So it has to go through this, and then it has to go through this. It doesn't necessarily have to go underneath it, but it certainly has to go down into that material to get a real good bite. I mean, ultimately you would want it to go underneath, but depending on the hog rings you have, you may not have the length to be able to get that to work. So I'm going to go to work on this thing, and it is kind of a pain. I'll be honest, it's not straightforward, so I'll report back when it's done. Let me see if I can get this on here. So what you want to do is get your hog ring tool and get a hog ring in there. And as I said before, so there's this rail, you'll see it when you're doing this, and you just want to get your hog ring in through there, and then the trick is to pull the foam back, expose that point down in there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take the hog ring and you're just going to pull this back as much as you can to get a good exposure. You got your hog ring through this part, and then you're just going to push down as hard as you can, and you're going to crimp it. That's pretty much it. There's only four along here. I've got these 3 done. I've tried to keep that bottom part as centered up as I could to get that back. I hope I've done it well. We'll see. And then the trickiest part, I think, of all is going to get the front part of this hog tied down to the frame. So it's not as bad as all that once you get it figured out, once you get the process kind of sorted out. So get your hog ring on your tool, get the hog ring looped through the runner, whatever you want to call it, the rod on the top, and then pull the foam back, and then just down. Just take the tool and push down as far as you can, crimp it so the tangs go around that thing. So that's about as good as I can do it. So I'm going to proceed on, and we'll report back when we get to the frame side. I think what I have determined, what the solution is, if you're putting the seat back together, I think that what you really need to do, now looking at trying to get the front part of the seat hog ringed back onto the frame, is that this step probably takes place before you put the cover attached to the foam. I think what really has to happen is you have to hog ring this front piece down, and then what you can do is put the cover on the seat, and then you would still be able to do this process of hog ringing, which I've just finished, and now trying to put the seat back on, and it doesn't look like it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to do that with this attached. So that step must take place, in my estimation, before the cover goes on the foam. So there you are, a little bit of tidbit there. So I'm going to try to make this work. I may have to revert to using zip ties, but let's see what I can figure out. Okay, they're on. I can't even get a good shot of this. The center one, I did him first, and then you can see the edge ones. There's a little loop on the end. I grabbed those, and then the only way I could do it was to really just manhandle the foam, bend it backwards, pull it, stretch it, and it worked out pretty good. But I seriously think that maybe in the factory they tack these on first and then assemble the rest of it. Since I'm going to do this again on a second seat, I will probably try that process. But that's it. I'm going to fit the rest of the cushion back on the frame and bend everything back into place, and I think that's about it. So from this point, assembly is the same as the disassembly, just in reverse. So I'll come back when I've got it all back together. So there you have it. It is all back together now, and so this is why I had replaced this bolster. As you will remember, it was completely decayed and looked all messed up. So anyway, so this is all back together. Everything seems to line up. It all looks good. I ran it through an electrical test. Everything seems to be working as it should. Everything's back on and together. No real big mysteries here. I'll bet you that if I was to do this again, which I probably will do, with the exception of, I think I'm just going to take the foam out of the passenger side seat in the car now. There's nothing wrong with the foam as far as I know. It just, my leather's just baked, just totally hard, rock hard. And you know, I'll swap it over to the passenger seat that I've got sitting on the garage floor now. I bet I can do the whole thing in about 4 hours now. And so what to do with the old seats? That's the last standing question, I suppose. Thanks, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, let me know.